Jerry, Brady created a new game that involves throwing the Lombardi trophy across the ocean. And wouldn't you know, he's actually good at that too. But he's also a lightweight, so.
Well, how about April 5th? Rodgers hosted one of television's most famous shows, not for 1, but for 2 weeks. And it was met with mixed reviews, but hey, no one's gotten the gig yet.
I'd take your Jeopardy and raise you Brady celebrating his anniversary with Giselle in their private mansion in Costa Rica. Probably is what they did, probably.
Then there was draft day, April 29th. Adam Schefter broke the news that Aaron Rodgers wanted out of Green Bay. His sources, correct, per usual.
Meanwhile, TB12 got total buy-in, all 22 starters returning. First time that's happened in the Super Bowl era.
So no mini camp or OTAs for Rodgers. He's more of a Hawaii kind of guy. It's the off season. We all deserve a vacation, right?
Some people vacation, some people just buy a $17 million mega mansion on Billionaire Bunker in Miami, and they live like they're on vacation year-round. I'm just saying.
I would take either. All right, Rodgers was asked about his offseason while speaking with the media for the Match Golf event tomorrow.
Sometimes the loudest person in the room is not the smartest person. Sometimes the loudest person in the room is not the person who has all the facts on their side or the truth on their side. This off season, I've spent a lot of time working on myself. I think for a long time, mental health has been only an okay topic to broach if you're talking about dealing with bouts of depression, but there's not a lot of conversation around just the idea of having a very positive mental health state. I've just been really trying to think about what puts me in the best frame of mind. What habits can I form that allow me to feel most in my body, most present, happiest? And that's what I've been doing. The mental side of it is so important for all of us athletes. I don't think it's talked about enough, but taking time to work on yourself is, I think, the best gift that any of us can give ourselves.
Well, it sounds like Aaron Rodgers is just thriving right now. Senior NFL writer Jeremy Fowler joining us now. Jeremy, given what we just heard there from Rodgers, how should we interpret those comments with training camp soon approaching?
Well, he's over the drama, and he wants to move on here. But he's playing it cool. He's not giving away any emotion. He's not playing his cards in true standoff form. And so you talk to execs around the league, they say yes, they believe Aaron Rodgers does want to be out, and maybe he's told the team that directly, but they also point out he has not gone full nuclear yet. He's been a little vague in his comments, left a little bit of wiggle room, and so the Packers, I'm told, are still holding out hope. They're still actively looking for solutions. I'm also told if he does not show up for training camp, they're not going to overreact because they believe there's still time. Rodgers could probably handle the $50,000 in fines a day if he really wanted, and that gives more reps for Jordan Love.
Hell, what's a couple 50 grand more, right? Training camp begins July 27th. He has 22 days to figure it out. But let's talk about a young quarterback. Top draft pick Trevor Lawrence signed his first NFL contract today with the Jags. What is most significant about this deal?
Most significant is no offset language in the deal. Trevor Lawrence won on that front. So if he gets cut after, say, 3 years, he gets his full 4-year guaranteed contract from the Jaguars and gets paid from his new team. He can double dip. Typically, the Jaguars in the past have been okay with taking the offset language out, but this time, given the magnitude of the number 1 pick, they talked about including it. Lawrence said that's a no-go for me, so Jacksonville said instead of dragging this out into training camp and beyond, let's get it done now. Lock up our future. And so Zach Wilson with the Jets is keeping a close eye on this, the number 2 pick. If the Jets try to include that offset language, he can point to the precedent from his new buddy Lawrence.
All right, so Trevor Lawrence getting what he wants. Will Aaron Rodgers get what he wants? We're going to have to wait to find out. Jeremy Fowler with the latest. Thank you.
All right, still ahead, the must-see moments from Manic Monday at Wimbledon with all 32 men's and women's players in action in the round of 16 today. Plus, full coverage continues on the eve of the NBA Finals, including Chris Paul's championship expectations. Aaron Rodgers was asked about his mental well-being in the offseason. His response is just ahead.
Yep, Aaron Rodgers, of course, in the later years of his career, but today's top headlines begin with a rookie quarterback, and he made some money in the NFL. Top overall pick Trevor Lawrence officially signed his first NFL contract with the Jaguars. The deal is worth almost $37 million and includes a signing bonus of just more than $24 million. After taking over midseason and leading the Hawks to a surprising Eastern Conference Finals run, head coach Nate McMillan agreed to a new deal to become Atlanta's permanent head coach. Atlanta was 6 games under 500 when McMillan stepped in for Lloyd Pierce when he was fired. One of the most notable results today during Wimbledon on this manic Monday, American Coco Gauff lost in straight sets in 2018 to that champion, Angelique Kerber. It's the second time Gauff has lost in the 4th round at Wimbledon after making it that far back in 2019. And on the eve of the NBA Finals, Giannis Antetokounmpo did not attend the media session today for all players and coaches. He was excused because he's dealing with that left knee injury he suffered back in Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Speaking of which, Ashley, of course, Game 1 tomorrow night, NBA Finals, Bucks and Suns. Let's sort of set the table, shall we? For the Bucks, they're seeking their second championship and their first since 1971. But of course, after losing Giannis in Game 4 of the series with the Hawks, they rattled off consecutive wins, never trailed, becoming the first team since the 2001 Lakers to clinch a spot in the finals with a wire-to-wire win. Now, the Bucks are here despite no one on the roster having NBA Finals experience. They are the first team to reach this point despite no one having been here before since the 2015 Warriors with Steph and Clay, so not that long ago. And now the Suns are on the horizon, and the Bucks lost both games against Phoenix this year, both by a single point. In fact, it's the first NBA Finals matchup where every single regular season game was decided by 1 point or less. For more, we're joined now by NBA reporter Malika Andrews, who's joining us from Phoenix. And Malika, we expect to hear from the Bucks in just a little bit, but what have you learned about Giannis' status ahead of Game 1 tomorrow?
Well, Elle, it is still uncertain. Mike Budenholzer said after they clinched a berth in these finals that Giannis Antetokounmpo, after last week when he was only able to do work in the weight room, he was finally able to get on the court on Saturday for the first time since hyperextending that left knee. But ultimately, the decision in whether or not he's going to be available to play in Game 1, Bud said, is going to be a combination of, one, what Giannis wants, and we know that he is dying to be out there and play, but also they're going to need to consult with the team's performance staff, and eventually he said he would weigh in along with general manager John Horst. So it's going to be a decision that needs to be made with all of those voices involved, but because Giannis' status is uncertain, he is not going to be speaking with reporters today, Elle.
Obviously, you want to have Giannis on the court, but the good news for the Bucks is they were able to come up with a blueprint. They won Games 5 and 6 in the conference final without him. So what is their level of confidence as they head into Game 1, regardless of whether he's there or not?
Well, they're very confident, Elle. As you mentioned, they were able to do those 2 wins. They were able to get those 2 wins by committee. But as Drew Holiday said, they did it by committee behind Chris Middleton. So they know they will go as far as Chris Middleton can take them, whether or not Giannis Antetokounmpo is out there on the floor. And so Drew Holiday said, look, this is a guy in Chris Middleton who can carry the weight of the world on his shoulders, and he doesn't care. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't play differently when he has that sort of pressure on him. And so Drew Holiday said, you know what? We are going down riding on his shoulders. I rode his shoulders, Drew Holiday said, all the way to these finals. And they may be in a situation where they're going to need to ride on those shoulders just a little bit longer, depending on whether or not Giannis can go. And if he's 100%, Elle.
Exactly. But they should feel very good about what they've seen from Drew Holiday, from Chris Middleton. Obviously, we all want Giannis to play. We'll see what happens. We will get you the latest as soon as Malika knows. But keep in mind, too, thank you, Malika Andrews, that if Giannis does miss this game, okay, a game in this series, the last first team All-NBA selection to actually miss a finals game in the same season, Magic Johnson in 1989. It's actually happened 4 times, including 3 Lakers and 1 Knick, who was playing against the Lakers in that series. That, of course, was Willis Reed back in 1970.
It's been a tale of 2 off seasons for the GOAT and the MVP, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers.
That's right, Ashley. In February,